The wait is over. The long-anticipated Fallout 4 Unique Weapons Explained video is here. Fallout 4 has a total of 71 unique weapons. That's a lot. But Fallout 4's unique weapon system is itself quite a bit unique. As you'll soon find out, many of the unique weapons in Fallout 4 typically only have 3 things that make them unique: a fixed legendary effect, a fixed unique name, and a fixed location. Unlike past Fallout titles where unique weapons had different stats or a different appearance or different modifications, most Fallout 4 unique weapons do not. The result is that many unique weapons in Fallout 4 just aren't very good or even that unique. Many times it's better to get a legendary weapon instead. But enough ranting, there are a lot of weapons to cover, so let's get started. Butcher's Hook. Relative to past games, there are not very many unique unarmed weapons. While Fallout 3 had 4 and New Vegas had 14, Fallout 4 only has 2. First up is the Butcher's Hook. The Butcher's Hook is the unique variant of the Far Harbor exclusive weapon, the Meat Hook. The Butcher's Hook comes with the Relentless Legendary Weapon effect, allowing action points to refill on critical hit. So not a bad option for a VATS melee build. It is sold by the friendly super mutant Erickson at Horizon Flight 1207. And while I could sit here and say that it could be a reference to the killer from I Know What You Did Last Summer, or the Butcher from the Diablo franchise, or some other more interesting reference, I believe that the Butcher's Hook simply refers to it being a meat hook that many butchers and slaughterhouses use to either hang meat or move it around. It is a meat hook that belongs to a butcher. We're off to a pretty lame start already. Swan's Power Fist. And this is where my slight issue with Fallout 4 uniques comes in. Historically, unique weapons in Fallout are one-of-a-kind weapons that cannot be duplicated or found anywhere else. They typically have better, or at least different, stats relative to their non-unique counterparts. They sometimes come with a slightly different appearance, and they will sometimes come with a unique effect. That's historically what unique weapons have been in the franchise. However, Fallout 4 is a bit different. As you've already seen with the Butcher's Hook, it's essentially just a renamed Relentless Meat Hook legendary weapon. It's still technically unique because it has a fixed spawn point, and no other Relentless Meat Hook named Butcher's Hook can be found anywhere else in Fallout 4, but it's not too special. The next weapon is probably the most egregious case of this kind of unique weapon. Always found on the corpse of Swan at Swan's Pond is not Swan's Power Fist, but rather a Furious Power Fist. Yep, no unique name. It's just a Power Fist with the Furious legendary effect, making consecutive hits against the same target deal more damage. Now, despite it technically being a unique item because of its fixed location and not being a normal Power Fist, it's probably the lamest unique that we've covered in this entire series so far. Womp womp. The 2076 World Series Baseball Bat. Moving on to the melee weapons, the first unique we have is the 2076 World Series Baseball Bat. As one might expect, it's the unique version of the standard baseball bat. Now, what makes this weapon truly unique and quite interesting is its effect. On hit, the baseball bat has about a 6% chance to send the target flying. When this happens, the crack of a bat and the sound of a crowd cheering can be heard, before your victim flies off into space for maybe the coolest home run anyone has ever hit. Sometimes, in more confined spaces, the person will fly into an object at alarming speed, causing them to explode. It's quite gnarly. This unique bat can be found after completing the miscellaneous quest, Find the Treasure of Jamaica Plain. After making your way through the Jamaica Plain Town Hall basement, you'll find the treasure, this bat, some caps, and some other miscellaneous items. Congrats. Now, if you're not too fond of keeping the baseball bat, Mo Cronin in Diamond City will gladly buy it off you for a handful of caps. As for the reference, the World Series is the annual championship of Major League Baseball in North America. After a best-of-7 series, the winner receives the Commissioner's Trophy and is dubbed the World Series champions. Now, what's kind of interesting is that this bat wouldn't be for Fallout's Boston baseball team, despite being found in the Commonwealth. We know this because it's mentioned on the newscast in the prologue for Fallout 4 that the Boston baseball team hasn't won a World Series since 1918, making it impossible for the 2076 World Series baseball bat to belong to Boston. Still, this bat would be the final to have won a World Series in the Fallout universe, as again mentioned on the newscast, the Great War actually interrupted Game 7 of the 2077 World Series. That's some trivia for you. Adam's Judgement. Adam's Judgement is Fallout 4's unique variant of the Super Sledge. It is also one of the few uniques in Fallout 4 that comes with a distinctly new appearance. Rather than being a traditionally modified sledgehammer, Adam's Judgement has what appears to be 4 damaged fusion cores as the main striking instrument. I say that they appear to be damaged, as radiation would seem to leak from these cores, giving the hammer a unique green glow. Adam's Judgement does the same 40 base damage with the same slow speed that the Super Sledge has. However, those damaged fusion cores are not just for show. Adam's Judgement also deals a 100 extra points of radiation damage. This makes it quite a bit strong against enemies who lack radiation resistance. The sole survivor can get Adam's Judgement after completing the Heretic quest for Grand Zealot Richter. Okay, now contrary to what you might believe, the reference for this weapon isn't exactly that cool, but the historical context behind it is. Let me explain. Adam's Judgement refers to the religious figure Adam that the Church of the Children of Adam worship. Adam is their deity, the hammer represents his judgment. It's quite plain. But this didn't satisfy my curiosity either. I get that the weapon is making reference to the Church of Adam, but what exactly does a hammer have to do with it? And now that I mention it, plenty of religious figures in fiction wield hammers. The Crusader in Diablo 3 uses hammers, the Paladins in World of Warcraft tend to use hammers, clerics in Dungeons and Dragons are proficient with hammers, but what is the significance there? And that's when I stumbled upon an article on the website CatholicGameReviews.com. It's a bit of an odd site, but if anyone was to know the answer about why hammers are used by religious figures in games, surely it's a religious gaming blog, right? The article reveals that the idea of hammer-wielding priests is not from myths or old literature, but actually from real-life history. It goes on to say that many monasteries were founded under the permission of a king or lord on the land of said king or lord. As such, they often still had to do the bidding of their lord. Sometimes this was simple stuff like praying for good health of their lord, but other times it meant partaking in military service. However, herein lies the problem. Many religious folks were forbidden from killing by the rule of Saint Benedict. And so how did they get around this law? Well, the rule states that no Benedictine should draw blood. So while swords, axes, and spears all draw blood quite simply in combat, bludgeoning weapons do not. Therefore, these religious figures would march into battle with maces, bludgeons, and notably, hammers. So there you go. I definitely didn't know this. Hopefully you've learned something new as well. Big Jim. Fallout 4's unique variant of the pipe wrench is called Big Jim. It can be found on a table in the basement of the gift shop at Walden Pond. It comes with the Kneecapper legendary effect, giving the weapon a 20% chance to cripple the target's legs. Now, with such a unique name on a weapon type that isn't frequently used, one would think that Big Jim would have an obvious reference. Here's what I could find. Big Jim is the line of action figures made by Mattel in the 70s and 80s. He's a traditional buff and macho hero character, but doesn't have any association with pipe wrenches or kneecaps. Big Jim is also the alias of Dean Norris's character in Under the Dome. He's the antagonist of the first few seasons, and even orders one of his men to shoot some guy in the kneecap. It kinda fits. And lastly, Vincenzo Colosimo, aka Big Jim Colosimo, was an Italian-American mafia crime boss who operated in Chicago in the late 1890s. As I typically hear of kneecapping being most often associated with the Mafia, I think it kinda adds up. But unfortunately, there is no clear-cut reference for Big Jim. Let me know if you have any ideas. Bloodletter. We've covered a lot of Far Harbor weapons already. This next entry is no different. Bloodletter is the unique variant of the pole hook. It is given to the sole survivor after they complete the quest Blood Tide, where you do a bunch of errands for Cassie Dalton. Bloodletter comes with the Wounding legendary effect, which adds a 25 damage over time bleed, resulting in more damage overall. As for the reference, the act of bloodletting was a form of ancient medicine. At the time, folks believed that blood and other bodily fluids needed to remain in a proper balance in order to be healthy. So when people came with ailments, one potential solution was using leeches or small incisions to allow blood to escape the patient's body. However, as of the late 19th century, bloodletting has been mostly abandoned, with studies showing that it actually proved harmful in the overwhelming majority of cases. Best to keep your blood in your body. Cido's Shiny Slugger. We've got some more baseball bat uniques coming up, so be ready for that. Cido's Shiny Slugger is another unique variant of the baseball bat. It is given to the player by Cido after clearing all the gator claws from the Safari Adventure area in Nuka World. It is your standard baseball bat, but comes with two added mods, Spiked Rocket and Aluminum, and the Relentless legendary effect, refilling your action points on a critical strike. What this results in is a high-powered baseball bat, capable of cracking even the densest of skulls. As for the name, it's Cido's baseball bat. It's shiny because of the aluminum, and the term slugger refers to someone who has a high slugging average in baseball. Slugging average is a measure of the productivity of a batter. It uses a formula similar to batting average, but puts weight behind the extra base hits, like doubles, triples, and home runs. A person with a higher slugging average is more likely to get more bases every time they're at bat. More colloquially, it means someone who hits the baseball really damn hard. Because Cido's Slugger is rocket-powered, the name fits. Fence Buster. Fence Buster is the third, but not final, unique baseball bat on this list. It can be found in the corner of Vault 118's atrium during the quest Brain Dead. Fence Buster comes with the Penetrating legendary effect, making the weapon ignore 30% of the target's resistances. And according to the online baseball dictionary, a fence buster is a long ball hitter, i.e. someone who often hits home runs. General Chow's Revenge. One thing you already know is that Fallout 4 has a lot of unique baseball bats. What you might not know is that it also has a lot of unique Chinese officer swords. General Chow's Revenge is the first unique Chinese officer sword we'll be talking about today. The weapon can be bought from Trudy at the Drumlin Diner after her dispute with Wolfgang is solved. It comes with the Serrated Blade mod, and comes with the Troubleshooter's legendary effect, making it deal an extra 50% damage to robotic enemies. It's quite difficult to find a proper name reference for this weapon. In lore, this is likely some pre-war general's sword, but finding any concrete evidence for why exactly it's named General Chow's Revenge is quite hard. Chow is a fairly common Chinese surname, and Wikipedia already has 2 entries about Chinese military generals named Chow during the Han Dynasty. So it could be anything really. It also doesn't help that Googling General Chow more often than not gives you pictures of chicken. Let me know if you can find anything better. Grognak Axe. Found inside the Hubris Comics building, Grognak Axe is a wholly unique weapon in Fallout 4. It deals 25 damage and has an additional bleed effect. Hits from this weapon cause targets to stagger quite frequently. All in all, it's a great weapon for VATS melee users. The only downside is that it cannot be upgraded or changed at a workbench. The axe serves as a reference to the in-universe comic series Grognak the Barbarian. The titular Grognak is the main character in an ancient and fantastical world where our mighty barbarian hero must save damsels in distress, seduce pirate queens, and defeat Grelok the Sorcerer. This axe was kept on display at the headquarters of the comics creators, Hubris Comics. Crs Tooth. Crs Tooth is yet another truly unique weapon in Fallout 4. After taking the terrifying journey through the Dunwich Borers, the player will find the blade on a shrine in a water-filled shaft. Now, I'm sorry, but I just lied to you. Crs Tooth is technically a unique machete. Its curved and otherworldly appearance is simply from the Sacrificial Blade mod that comes preset on the weapon. The mod makes the base machete deal an additional 14 points of damage, with some additional poison and bleeding damage over time. It's quite good. But what makes it even better is that the player can actually remove this mod from Crs Tooth, rendering it a simple machete again, and add it onto any other legendary machete they might find in the wastes, making a much stronger weapon in the process. As for the name, anything Dunwich related is still a well-kept secret by the developers. Crs Tooth is no different. The only thing that we really do know is that the whole Dunwich saga with the building in Fallout 3, the Point Lookout stuff, and the Borers is that it's all a big reference to H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos. What we do know from the name of the mod on the weapon, and exploring the marble mine itself, is that Crs Tooth was likely the weapon used to sacrifice some people to an eldritch being, perhaps Ugg Kultoth from Fallout 3. Speaking of H.P. Lovecraft, Pikmins Blade. Fallout 4's unique combat knife is called Pikmins Blade. The sole survivor can retrieve the blade from a safe after completing the Pikmin's Gift side quest. It's the best unique melee weapon in the game for stealth users. It has the wounding legendary effect, dealing 25 additional points of bleed damage, and comes with the Stealth Blade mod, giving it some more base damage, bleed damage, and an additional sneak attack damage multiplier of 0.5. All in all, despite the size, it's quite the heavy hitter. The blade would be the signature weapon of renowned serial killer and artist Pikmin, and then the whole Pikmin quest, character, and the likes is a reference to H.P. Lovecraft's Pikmin's Model short story. The tale is about a Bostonian painter, Richard Pikmin, who creates brilliant but terrifying graphic images, notably a red-eyed canine human chewing on a human victim. Spoiler alert, the big kicker is that the monsters Pikmin was painting didn't come from his own twisted mind and imagination, but rather they were real. Creepy, I know. Surely you can see these similarities between Lovecraft's Pikmin and Fallout's. Reckoning. Reckoning is one of Fallout 4's unique rippers. It can be bought from Smiling Larry after he's been recruited to your settlement. Reckoning comes with the Sentinel legendary effect, making the player take 15% less damage when standing still. To be honest though, Sentinel is not that great of an effect. I'd much rather have a legendary ripper with some DPS effects like wounding or freezing. I'd say pass on Reckoning. As for the name, I'm kinda stumped. Reckoning can mean an estimation or appraisal, but it can also mean a settling of accounts, like the Day of Reckoning, for example. I'd wager that it has something to do with the latter. Perhaps the past mistakes of all the Wastelands foes will now be punished once the sole survivor gets their hands on this unique ripper. I'm not too sure, to be honest. Let me know what you think. Rockville Slugger. Our final unique baseball bat is the Rockville Slugger. Wait, that's not right. The Rockville Slugger is actually a unique variant of the Swatter, not the baseball bat. That's my bad. It can be bought from Mo Cronin at the Diamond City Market. It's a standard swatter made of oak wood and comes with the spiked weapon mod. Notably, it also has a faint Mo Cronin trademark on the side of the bat. Along with these mods and markings, the Rockville Slugger has the VATS Enhanced Legendary effect, making it use 40% less action points in VATS. I believe that Rockville Slugger is in reference to the Louisville Slugger brand of baseball bat. The Louisville Slugger is known as the official bat of Major League Baseball. Where Rockville comes in is that the Bethesda headquarters is located in the city of Rockville, Maryland. Shem Drown Sword. Fallout 4's only unique revolutionary sword is the Shem Drown Sword. It can be found on the skeletal remains of Shem Drown after completing the Gilded Grasshopper side quest. Shem Drown Sword adds an extra 5 points of radiation damage and deals 4 radiation damage over 3 seconds, giving it a small DOT effect. However, unfortunately, the Shem Drown Sword cannot be given the heavy-hitting serrated weapon mod, but paired with the stun pack mod, the Shem Drown Sword isn't all too bad. Unsurprisingly, Shem Drown Sword once belonged to Shem Drown. But who is Shem Drown? Well, Shem Drown was the real-life coppersmith who is most famous for making the grasshopper weather vane that sits atop Faneuil Hall in Boston. Drown was buried in Copp's Hill Burying Ground, a cemetery found in Boston's North End, similar to the North End graveyard that the sole survivor finds his remains in Fallout 4. Fallout 4 really nailed it with the Boston setting, eh? Sword of Wonders. The Sword of Wonders is the next unique Chinese officer sword on today's list. It can be given to the sole survivor as a reward for completing Oswald the Outrageous's quest, A Magical Kingdom. It's your standard Chinese officer sword, but it comes pre-built with the serrated weapon mod and the penetrating legendary effect. So that's kinda nice. And unfortunately, this is one of those scenarios where I can't find anything related to a reference or Easter egg. It's a sword wielded by an eccentric magician. If you figure out anything, let me know. The Fish Catcher. Back to Far Harbor with this one. The Fish Catcher is the game's second unique pole hook. But rather than having a bleed effect, the Fish Catcher comes with a VATS enhanced legendary effect, making it cost fewer action points to use. It can be purchased from Alan Lee in Far Harbor. The name is pretty simple. Pole hooks are used by fishermen to help bring fish in. Hence, the Fish Catcher. The Harvester. Far Harbor really added a bunch of new melee weapons, eh? The Harvester is the second unique variant of the Ripper. It can be found in a red steamer trunk at Echo Lake Lumber. It's quite the ridiculous weapon, too. Remember how I mentioned that on-hit effects are really strong on the Ripper because of its high attack speed? Well, the Harvester comes with the staggering legendary effect, granting a chance to stagger foes on hit. With the high attack speed, the Harvester staggers its targets quite frequently, making one-on-one combat pretty much trivial. Much better than the Reckoning. The Harvester is a pretty dreadful name. It sounds like a demon from Diablo or something. However, due to the location in which the Harvester can be found, a lumber mill, and due to the Ripper essentially just being a handheld chainsaw, I'd wager that the name comes from its ability to harvest wood and logs. Much less dreadful now. Throat Slicer. Speaking of dreadful, the Throat Slicer is a unique variant of the Disciples Blade found in Fallout 4's Nuka World DLC. It is sold by Caitlin Alden at the Nuka Town Market. Throat Slicer is your standard Disciples Blade, but with the wounding legendary weapon effect, giving it a 25 damage bleed effect. I think the name is derived from its legendary effect. You've all seen those scenes in movies where an assassin or something cuts the throat of their target and a big old fountain of blood comes pouring out, right? None immediately come to mind, but you know what I mean, yeah? Well, I suppose that the Throat Slicer is supposed to mimic the idea with its bleeding effect. You're slicing the throat of your enemy. Xiaos Sword. And to close off the melee weapons, we have one competitor for the worst unique weapon in all of Fallout 4. Xiaos Sword is the final unique variant of the Chinese officer sword. It belongs to Captain Xiao of the Yangtze submarine, and is given to the sole survivor as a reward for completing the Here There Be Monsters side quest, as long as all 3 persuasion checks are passed at the start of the quest. Now, Xiao's sword is only unique in name. It comes with no legendary effects like all the previous unique weapons that we've seen. Yeah, it's quite lame. December's Child. To start off the ballistic weapons section, we have a not so great gun in December's Child. December's Child is a unique combat rifle added in the Far Harbor DLC. December's Child comes with a truly unique effect that's supposed to make it lighter, use 5.56 ammo, fire faster, and reload faster. I say supposed to because while the weapon does use the more powerful 5.56 round, it deals the same damage as a normal combat rifle and actually doesn't weigh less. Yeah, it's kinda weird. Still, it does fire and reload faster than your standard combat rifle. But if you swap to an automatic receiver thinking that you'll scale your damage with the greater increased rate of fire, you'll find that it doesn't fire any faster than a normal automatic receiver combat rifle. It's really weird. Plus, doing the same damage while using the rarer 5.56 makes using it feel not so great. It's just a really weird gun. Now, one would think that with a name like December's Child, the reference would be quite obvious. Well, just like many unique Fallout 4 weapons already, this is not the case. Now, December's Child could be in reference to the Rolling Stones album, December's Children, but I can't think of any connection between that album and the combat rifle. I'm not entirely too sure about this one. Why can't every weapon just be as easy to figure out as Grognak's Axe? Deliverer. Now we're on to one of my favorite guns in all of Fallout. The Deliverer is a wholly unique pistol that can be found during the Railroad quest Tradecraft. The Deliverer is chambered with 10mm, deals damage that competes with the standard 10mm pistol, has a built-in suppressor, it has the legendary VATS enhanced effect, giving it a greater chance to hit and a smaller AP cost to use in VATS, and all in all, this makes the Deliverer a menace to use in VATS. I love it, it's a great gun. While the name reference eludes me, the Deliverer takes on the appearance of the real-world James Bond gun, the Walter PPK. Bond uses a Walter PPK in the film Dr. No, released in 1962, all the way to Tomorrow Never Dies, released in 1997. It's in Tomorrow Never Dies that Pierce Brosnan's Bond makes a change to the Walter P99, using it for the remainder of his tenure until Daniel Craig took over the role in 2006. What can I say? I'm a bit of a Bond head. Eddie's Piece. Eddie's Piece is the first of 3 unique 44 magnums found in Fallout 4. It is found on the corpse of crime boss Eddie Winter at the end of the Long Time Coming companion quest. Eddie's Piece is a snub-nosed scoped 44 that comes with the crippling legendary effect, dealing additional limb damage. The name of the weapon serves as a double entendre. One part of the explanation is being that the death of the mobster gives him peace. It gives Eddie peace. And the other part is that the word peace, spelled a bit differently, is often used as slang for someone's pistol. It's Eddie's piece. A little word play, if you will. The Flare Gun. While at first one may not expect this weapon to make the list, the Flare Gun is technically a unique weapon. It's one of a kind, and will always be found in the same means. The Flare Gun will always be given to the player after completing the Minutemen quest, the first step. It takes on the appearance of your standard Flare Gun and deals negligible damage in combat. However, combat is not really the point of using the Flare Gun. When fired, the Flare Gun will summon a handful of Minutemen to aid the sole survivor in whatever situation they found themselves in. While I don't use it all very much myself, it's a cute little addition to the game that adds some more immersion and flavor. The Minutemen are supposed to be this quick response task force, and the addition of the Flare Gun makes it true. The Gainer. The second of 3 unique 44 magnums is the Gainer. It can be found in the Vitali Pump House unmarked location after inputting a code to unlock its door. The Gainer is a 44 magnum with a standard receiver, full barrel, comfort grip, reflex sight, and has the incendiary legendary effect, making it deal an additional 15 points of fire damage over time. Like many 44 magnums in Fallout, its per shot damage is on the higher end of all weapons. According to lead level designer for Fallout 4, Joel Burgess, The Gainer serves as a reference to friend and fellow game designer Steve Gaynor. Burgess notes that Gaynor loves a nasty-ass video game magnum. In addition to this reference, the scene at the Vitali Pump House also has two other notable Easter eggs that I feel like mentioning for full clarity. The code to get into the pump house, 0451, is a reference first encountered in a Looking Glass Studios' 1994 cyberpunk horror game, System Shock. The number has since appeared in many other video games, with a blog post detailing the series of Easter eggs. From Fallout 4 to BioShock to Atomic Heart, the number 0451 can be found hidden among these games and more. And while some believe the number was in reference to Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, Looking Glass developers have confirmed that the series of numbers was actually once the door code to get into the Looking Glass offices in Cambridge. And the other Easter egg is one that you might have already seen before in Fallout 3. Next to the Gainer is a bloodied and headless skeleton. Between his legs are his skull. This scene serves as a reference to Hideo Kojima's 1988 stature. You came for a reference for just the gun, and you walked away with a couple more. How about that for value? Justice. Fallout 4's first unique combat shotgun is Justice. It can be bought from Penny in the synth-fearing town of Covenant. It is your standard combat shotgun, kitted out with a powerful receiver, short barrel, marksman stock, compensator, and comes with the staggering legendary effect, giving a chance to stagger the target on hit. What's fun about shotguns with the staggering effect is that each pellet has an individual chance at staggering, making the likelihood of chaining stagger effects quite high. As for references, the best I could find is that there is an album by Canadian metal band Razor called Shotgun Justice that was released in 1990. The band has about 30k monthly listeners on Spotify, so I truly doubt that this shotgun is referencing the band, but I couldn't find anything else. It's a shame. Kellogg's Pistol. The final unique 44 Magnum found in Fallout 4 is Kellogg's Pistol. It can be looted off him after dispatching the old man in Fort Hagen at the end of the first act. It is your standard 44, but it has a bull barrel, comfort grip, and the relentless legendary weapon effect, allowing it to refill your action points after a critical hit. It's a solid gun. No complaints here. The name is in reference to the owner of the gun, Conrad Kellogg. It's Kellogg's Pistol. Kiloton Radium Rifle. The first of two unique radium rifles is the Kiloton Radium Rifle. It can be bought from Brother Kane in the Nucleus after the sole survivor joins the Children of Adam. It's your standard radium rifle. However, it does come with the explosive legendary effect, dealing an additional 15 points of area of effect damage. This effect, coupled with its high rate of fire and damage, makes it quite good for dealing with packs of creatures. Just don't use it on ghouls. As for the name, a kiloton is a unit of energy. It is most often used as a TNT equivalent to describe how much energy would be released in an explosion. For example, a kiloton of TNT produces a 1 kiloton explosion. Taking this idea further, the energy released during the Halifax explosion in 1917 was equivalent to 2.9 kilotons of TNT. The little boy atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima at the end of the Pacific War exploded with the energy equivalent of 15 kilotons of TNT. It's a useful measurement that better contextualizes the destructive power of explosions. And as the kiloton radium rifle has an explosive effect, the name fits quite nicely. The Last Minute. The only unique Gauss rifle found in Fallout 4 is the Last Minute. It can be bought from Ronnie Shaw at the castle after liberating the Old Minutemen fort during the Old Guns quest. The Last Minute comes pre-built with the shielded barrel, capacitor boosting coil, long night vision scope, compensator muzzle, and has the crippling legendary effect, granting more limb damage. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of the Gauss rifle in general from Fallout 4. I miss my old Operation Anchorage one from 3, and even if you do like Gauss rifles, the crippling effect isn't the best for the weapon. I'd much rather have an instigating Gauss rifle, where you deal double damage if the target is at full HP. That's how you get the most from the weapon. As for the name, Ronnie Shaw is a high-ranking member of the Minutemen and one of the few remaining veterans amongst its members. She was a Minuteman long before Preston Garvey, Colonel Hollis, or even General Becker. As such, because Ronnie is the one who's selling the weapon, it only makes sense that it's called the Last Minute, as she's potentially the longest-standing member of the faction. You know, she is the Last Minute. Le Fuzi Terrible. The final unique combat shotgun from Fallout 4 is Le Fuzi Terrible. And yes, please criticize my French, just know that my Duolingo streak is probably better than yours. Anyway, enough rabble-rousing. The Fuzi Terrible can be found within the floating raider settlement of Libertalia. It comes with a standard receiver, long-ported and shielded barrel, a full stock, a drum magazine, and has the Violent Legendary effect, which is similar to the Crippling effect. It just adds some more recoil. Le Fusil Terrible is roughly translated from French into the Terrible Gun, as both this gun and the Terrible Shotgun from Fallout 3 are found in Raider strongholds. Le Fusil Terrible likely serves as a reference to the Terrible Shotgun. The name of the weapon could also refer to the 1929 French novel Les Enfants Terribles by Jean Cocteau. That would explain the poor French grammar, but then again, who knows? Lucky Eddie. The first of two unique lever-action rifles that can be found in Fallout 4 is Lucky Eddie. It is given to the sole survivor after destroying Acadia on behalf of Far Harbor during the Way Life Should Be quest. It is the exact same as a normal lever-action rifle, but when equipped, it grants an additional +2 to the luck stat. This helps with filling up the critical meter. But with all that being said, it's not that great of a weapon. Surely a never-ending lever-action rifle would be better, right? Even an instigating one too. If you want to do a full luck playthrough, this is the weapon you'll need. As for the name reference, I can't really think of anything that contextually makes sense. Sure, the Hagar the Horrible comic series has a character named Lucky Eddie, but there's no real connection there. The only thing that really stands out is that the lucky part of the name obviously refers to the weapon's legendary effect. Either the Fallout 4 team has some really obscure references for their weapons, or they're not really named after pop culture references like in past games. Anyways, we're moving on. Old Reliable. The second unique lever-action rifle is Old Reliable. It can be bought from Dijon in Acadia. It comes with the 2-shot legendary effect, making it fire 2 bullets for the price of 1, at the cost of significantly increased recoil. Definitely one of the better legendary effects in my opinion. Old Reliable is a common slang for either an object or a scheme or something along those lines that, more often than not, does its job correctly. In SpongeBob, Old Reliable is his jellyfishing net. The RMS Olympic, a British ocean liner, earned the nickname Old Reliable during the First World War. You get the idea. I think in this particular case, Old Reliable is supposed to be a cheeky jab at the legendary effect, because if the lever-action rifle was truly reliable, it wouldn't be firing 2 bullets at once. You know, that seems like a bit of a hazard. Let me know if you can come up with anything else. Overseer's Guardian. The second unique combat rifle is one of my favorite weapons in Fallout 4, the Overseer's Guardian. It can be bought from Alexis Combs in Vault 81. The default Overseer's Guardian comes with an armor-piercing automatic receiver, a recoil-compensating stock, a short night vision scope, and the 2-shot legendary effect. If you kit this thing out properly, it can turn into a mid-range exchange beast, dishing out tons of damage. As for the name, the weapon is found in Vault 81. Presumably, this was a weapon that was kept and potentially used by Vault 81's Overseer in order to protect the vault. Can this be confirmed? No. But what I'm really trying to get at is that there is likely no Easter egg or reference relating to this weapon. It's just a good gun, and that's it. The Problem Solver. The first of 2 unique handmade rifles, if you even want to call them unique, is the Problem Solver. It can be given to the sole survivor through having an aggressive dialogue with the alpha of the pack, Mason. If done properly, Mason says something along the lines of, "I see we both have a lot in common," and hands you the rifle. The problem solver comes with a unique pack-inspired appearance and has the Furious legendary effect, increasing its damage after consecutive hits on the same target. As for the name, I think it's reflective of the sole survivor. They have to come into Nuka World and solve a bunch of problems for the Raider Alliance after they take out their former boss, Coulter. The problem solver rifle is given to the problem solver person. Also, perhaps the weapon solves your problem by pointing and shooting at them. Let me know what you think. Radical Conversion. Radical Conversion is the second unique radium rifle found in Fallout 4. It is awarded to the sole survivor after they complete the Ablutions side quest. It is your typical radium rifle, except it comes with the penetrating legendary effect, making it ignore 30% of your target's resistances. As for the name, this is one that also kind of has a double meaning. Radical makes reference to the type of damage the weapon does, radiation damage, and the idea of radical conversion has connotations with religion and the idea of converting someone to a different religion. And as the radium rifle is a commonly used weapon among the Church of the Children of Atom, a post-war religion, it fits thematically. Reba. Reba is the first of 3 unique hunting rifles found in Fallout 4. It is carried by Barney Rook in Salem as his own personal weapon. It has no legendary effect, will have random mods, and comes with no additional effects. It's unique in name only. The only thing I can think of for a reference is that Reba McEntire played a character in the movie Tremors that used a hunting rifle. Her character and her character's husband were doomsday preppers living on the outskirts of town. That's the best I got. Reba II. Reba II is the next unique hunting rifle in Fallout 4. It is given to the sole survivor after they help defend Salem from a Mirelurk attack. It comes with the Exterminator legendary effect, giving 50% additional damage against bugs and Mirelurks. Quite fitting. As for the name, Reba II is simply the younger sister of the first Reba, as Barney puts it. The Silver Submachine Gun. The first of 2 unique submachine guns in Fallout 4 is the Silver Submachine Gun. It is given to the sole survivor by Kent Connolly for returning the Silver Submachine Gun prop to him during the Silver Shroud quest. The only unique thing about this weapon is its paint job. The stock, grip, and handle are made from a darker wood, and the metallic parts are more silver when compared to the default SMG. Other than that, it has no unique effects or unique mods. The Silver SMG is the iconic weapon used by Hubris Comics' mysterious vigilante, the Silver Shroud. The Splatter Cannon. The last unique handmade rifle, if you even want to call it that, is the Splatter Cannon. It can be bought from Aaron Corbett in the Nuka Town Market. It comes with the same Furious legendary effect as the Problem Solver, but doesn't have a unique paint scheme, instead sticking with the iconic metal and wood design. Due to the name, Splatter Cannon, it almost feels like it should have come with the Explosive legendary effect, right? Splatter because of the AoE splash damage, and Cannon because of the explosions. But it doesn't come with the Explosive effect. It comes with the Furious effect. So once again, I'm a bit stumped with the name. Spray and Pray. The final unique SMG is Spray and Pray. It is sold by wandering merchant Cricket. It comes with the Explosive legendary effect, dealing 15 additional damage in an AoE explosion around the target. Paired with the automatic weapon perks and Demolition Expert, this thing shreds. The name refers to the idea of spraying and praying, where someone takes a fully automatic weapon and just rapidly fires it with no care to aim, hoping to hit a target. Praying to hit a target, rather. That was my go-to method in Gears of War, by the way. The Tinker Tom Special. The final unique hunting rifle in Fallout 4 is the Tinker Tom Special. It can be bought from Tinker Tom at the Railroad HQ. The Tinker Tom Special comes with a full stock, standard receiver, suppressor, long-range scope, and the Stalker's legendary effect, increasing your VAT's accuracy at the cost of more AP when not in combat. It's kind of trash for a sniper because who the heck uses VATs with a sniper, you know? I think the name is just a play on the phrase of the so-and-so special, you know, like skipping school is like the Ferris Bueller special or something. Something along those lines anyway. It's hard to think of a specific example, but I hope you know what I mean. A sniper with a lame legendary effect? Oh, that's the Tinker Tom special. Wastelanders Friend. And to close out the ballistic weapons, we have the unique 10mm pistol, the Wastelanders Friend. Sold by Deb in Bunker Hill, Wastelanders Friend comes with random mods attached and has the crippling legendary effect, dealing more limb damage. It's not all too notable, probably better to use the Deliverer if you want to use a 10mm pistol. And just like how a Plumber's Friend is a toilet plunger, a Wastelander's Friend is a trusty sidearm. It's that simple. Admirals Friend. The very first heavy weapon we have on the list today is Admirals Friend. The Admirals Friend is a unique harpoon gun that can be purchased from Alan Lee in Far Harbor. It comes with the instigating legendary effect, dealing double damage to targets at full HP. Honestly, any weapon that has a magazine size of 1, like the harpoon gun, would be a great candidate for the instigating effect. One shot, one kill. And just like how a Plumber's Friend is a plunger, and a Wastelander's Friend is a 10mm pistol, it would seem that the Admiral's Friend is a trusty harpoon gun. Aturnus. The first of 2 Gatling lasers on this list comes from the Nuka World DLC. Aturnus can be looted off the corpse of the Rogue Knight during the quest Amoral Combat, where you have to take down some competitors who made it through the gauntlet. Aturnus has the never-ending legendary effect, being able to fire endlessly. It also has some weird bugs with how it consumes your fusion cores. Sometimes it'll consume your cores, sometimes it won't. There's honestly a lot more to it than that. Folks on the wiki have made videos about its odd behavior, but it's just a bit much to get into. Just make sure you have a handful of fusion cores when using Aturnus. The word Aturnus is actually Latin, meaning eternal or immortal. As you never have to reload the Gatling laser, you can fire it eternally, fulfilling the neat choice in name. Ashmaker. Ashmaker is one of the coolest looking weapons in Fallout 4. It's an incendiary minigun that shoots orange tracer rounds. It's frickin' sweet. It's just too bad that it sucks. Ashmaker can be acquired from Fahrenheit if Bobby No-Nose is killed during the Big Dig quest. Alternatively, it can be looted off the corpse of Fahrenheit if the player sides with Bobby during the quest. Now, the big reason why Ashmaker sucks is because the incendiary legendary effect doesn't stack, and as the minigun is an attack speed king, this hurts the damage output quite a bit. Rather than stacking fire damage over time, the timer is simply refreshed, meaning that Ashmaker's DOT effect will only ever do 5 damage per second. Combine this with the low base damage of 8, makes it quite weak. The name Ashmaker is in reference to its incendiary nature. Fire creates ash by burning things. The minigun turns people into ash. It's an ash maker. Big Boy. The first of 3 unique Fatmans found in Fallout 4 is called Big Boy. It can be bought from Arturo in the Diamond City Market. Big Boy comes with the 2-shot legendary effect, allowing it to fire 2 projectiles for the cost of 1. On a Fatman, this is beautiful as mini nukes can be hard to come by. On a per-shot basis, because of the 2-shot effect, Big Boy is the highest damaging weapon in Fallout 4. Paired with the Merv launcher mod, Big Boy becomes one of the deadliest weapons in all of Fallout. The name is in reference to the Little Boy atomic bomb that was dropped over the city of Hiroshima during the Second World War. As Big Boy fires 2 nukes, it earns the big title over the little title. Broadsider. Broadsider is a wholly unique weapon that is rewarded to the sole survivor after completing the last voyage of the USS Constitution side quest. The Broadsider is an 18th century naval cannon modified with some modern day hydraulics and triggers. The result is a makeshift handheld launcher that fires explosive cannonballs. Fantastic. Broadside is an old naval term that means to fire all the guns on one side of the ship. As the penetrating power and range of ship cannons was quite short, captains at war would sail alongside each other and fire all their guns at once, hoping to cripple the enemy vessel before becoming crippled themselves. This became known as a broadside. Death from Above. Death from Above is the first of 2 unique missile launchers found in Fallout 4. It can be bought from Proctor Tegan aboard the Pridwin. The weapon is essentially a normal missile launcher, but gives you an additional 75% movement speed while aiming. It's a bit of a weird effect, that's for sure. The term Death from Above is a common military term for a successful aerial attack. As the missile launcher can be bought aboard the largest post-war aircraft, the name sorta fits. Defender's Harpoon Gun. The Defender's Harpoon Gun is, to no one's surprise, a unique harpoon gun. It is given to the sole survivor for completing the quest Hull Breach 3, the third part of a 3-act side quest, Hull Breach. It comes with the penetrating legendary effect, allowing it to ignore 30% of its target's resistances. Honestly, it's not very remarkable in the slightest. The name is likely in reference to the sole survivor's actions during the quest Hull Breach. Throughout the quest, the player is given tasks that will better improve the defenses of Far Harbor. Final Judgement. The second unique Gatling laser is Final Judgement. It can be obtained by killing Brotherhood of Steel leader Arthur Maxson during either the Airship Down, Precipice of War, or Rocket's Red Glare quests. It comes with the rapid legendary effect, making it fire and reload faster. Because of how the game works, if modded with the Charging Barrels mod, Final Judgement deals some ridiculous damage numbers, making it one of the best weapons in the game. I believe the term Final Judgement ties into the views of the Brotherhood of Steel. In Fallout 4, the Steel is very aggressive when it comes to the eradication of anything they deem impure, ghouls, synths, super mutants. By unleashing a wave of red laser weaponry into these so-called abominations, Arthur Maxson is giving his final judgment. Something along those lines, I believe. Nuka Nuke Launcher. The next unique Fat Man in Fallout 4 is the Nuka Nuke Launcher. It can be found in the secret part of Bradburton's office. The most notable aspect of the Nuka Nuke Launcher is that it doesn't launch mini-nukes, but rather Nuka Nukes. This gives it much more stopping power, making it, just like Final Judgment, one of the highest damaging weapons in Fallout. The name is simply in reference to the ammo it fires. It's not a mini-nuke launcher, it's a Nuka Nuke launcher. Party Starter. Party Starter is the second unique missile launcher. It can be bought from Cleo at Good Neighbor. Party Starter comes with the Assassin's legendary effect, dealing 50% more damage to humans. If you combine the phrase, "let's get this party started with a bang," and the explosive power of a missile launcher, you get the Party Starter. Yeah, honestly, it's a pretty lame reference, but, that's been the MO for a lot of these names, unfortunately. Sergeant Ash. Sergeant Ash is the only unique flamer in the game. It is sold by Dijon in Acadia. Oddly enough, Sergeant Ash comes with the Kneecapper legendary effect, giving it a 20% chance of crippling the target's legs. You'd think that a flamethrower wouldn't have any prejudice when it came to where it hit. Why exactly are these flames more likely to cripple someone's legs, It's just weird is all. The name serves as a reference to the British robot competition show Robot Wars. One of the robot contestants was named Sergeant Bash. Bash had hydraulic pincers in the front and a top-mounted flamethrower. Skipper's Last Stand. The final unique harpoon gun is Skipper's Last Stand. Old Longfellow gives it to the sole survivor as a reward for completing the Shipbreaker quest. The weapon comes with the Resilient legendary effect, giving plus 150 damage resistance while reloading. As the weapon can take up to 5 seconds to reload, you get quite a bit of value from the effect. Still, I'd rather have a 2-shot or instigating effect instead. A skipper is the nickname for a captain of a ship. A last stand is a situation in combat where a group holding a defensive position is vastly outnumbered and expected to hold said position against nearly insurmountable odds. As Skipper's Last Stand is a harpoon gun used by folks on boats and has the resilient effect, giving the user more defenses, the name is quite fitting. The Striker. And the final unique heavy weapon in Fallout 4 is the Striker. It can be found in Beaver Creek Lanes in the Far Harbor DLC. The Striker is a uniquely modified Fat Man that, instead of launching mini-nukes, launches modified bowling balls. When hitting a target, the weapon will sometimes play the sound of bowling pins being knocked over. It's quite cool. In bowling, a strike means that all the pins have been knocked down on the first bowl of a frame. If your first ball knocks over all the pins, you're awarded a strike. As the striker launches bowling balls and makes a strike sound effect, it's a well-suited name. Alien Blaster Pistol. The first unique energy weapon on this list is a staple of the Fallout franchise. The Alien Blaster Pistol can be looted off the corpse of the alien in a cave after the UFO crash site random encounter. While it is a powerful weapon, capable of one-shotting plenty of enemies, it's still just not that good. Its projectiles move quite slowly, and it has a limited ammo supply. While the weapon can be modded to fit fusion cells, this modification does result in a slight damage loss. Still, it's fun, unique, and has made an appearance in every Fallout title to date. Cryolator. Another wholly unique weapon is the Cryolator. It is found in a Master Lock display case in Vault 111. The weapon sort of works as a reverse flamer. Rather than throwing fire at a target, it throws a sort of cryogenic spray. If the target receives a bit too much of the ice-cold spray, they may freeze entirely. With weapon mods, it becomes even more fun to use, as it can turn into a more traditional firearm, shooting ice crystals instead. Still, in most of my playthroughs, I never remembered to go and get it. It's still probably just collecting dust. Experiment 18A. Experiment 18A is a unique automatic plasma rifle. It can be bought from the Synth Requisition Officer in the Institute. It comes with the Rapid Legendary Weapon effect, making it fire and reload faster. I'd imagine that the name refers to its legendary effect. It's likely that the Institute scientists were messing around with the plasma weaponry, trying to figure out ways to make it fire faster. Nothing really notable about the names of these energy weapons so far, eh? Good Intentions. The first unique laser rifle found in Fallout 4 is Good Intentions. It is carried by Gunner's leader, Clint, at the Quincy Ruins. Good Intentions comes with an improved automatic barrel, a gyro-compensating lens, a marksman stock, and the Enraging effect, causing the target to frenzy on a critical hit. The name Good Intentions is a reference to the Christian saying, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." This is saying that those who do bad things sometimes believe that they're doing the right thing instead. This could be in reference to Clint's betrayal of the Minutemen and sacking of Quincy. No matter if Clint believed he was doing the right thing by betraying the failing Minutemen, no matter his good intentions, what he did was still evil. Hub's Alien Blaster. A second Alien Blaster? Sacre bleu. Hub's Alien Blaster is a unique Alien Blaster given to the player after they complete the Nuka World side quest, Trip to the Stars. This Alien Blaster comes with the Lucky Legendary effect, causing critical hits to deal double damage and the critical meter to fill 15% faster. Dara Hubble explains the name when she gives it to you. She says that it used to belong to her ancestor, Dick Hubble, aka the Hub, the creator of Hubology. So it was the blaster that once belonged to the Hub. It's Hub's Alien Blaster. Lorenzos Artefact. The only unique gamma gun is Lorenzos Artefact. If the sole survivor sides with Jack Cabot during the Secret of the Cabot House side quest, Jack Cabot will give Lorenzos Artefact to the player. Similar to Crs Tooth, the weapon comes with a unique weapon mod. This mod fires projectiles that stuns and knocks enemies back. As it is a mod and not a legendary effect, it can be removed from the unique gamma gun and put on any other gamma gun, including legendary ones. Also, oddly enough, the damage that Lorenzos Artefact deals is pure damage, targeting the opponent's health pool rather than irradiating them. It's quite the unique weapon. The name clearly refers to the former owner of the weapon, Lorenzo Cabot, his archaeology endeavors, and his fascinations with otherworldly technology. Old Faithful. Old Faithful is a unique laser gun that can be bought from Arturo in Diamond City. It comes with the instigating legendary effect, making it deal double damage to targets at full HP. I think it's a great gun. Though any instigating weapon is pretty solid in my eyes. The best way to not get got is to get the gotter first. You know what I mean? The name shares a similar meaning with the unique lever action rifle, Old Reliable. It's just a tool that gets the job done. Protectron's Gaze. Protectron's Gaze is another unique laser gun. It can be pickpocketed from the Mechanist in the Automatron DLC. It's found as a laser pistol with a beam splitter and the Rapid Legendary mod, making it fire and reload faster. The weapon is a reference to the Fallout 3 weapon of the same name. Both Protectron's Gaze guns are laser pistols that have a shotgunning effect. In Fallout 3, it's thanks to its unique nature, and in Fallout 4, it's because of the beam-splitting weapon mod. Limitless Potential. Prototype UP-77 Limitless Potential is yet another unique laser gun. It is found in the University Point Credit Union Bank Vault. Limitless Potential comes with the never-ending effect, meaning it does not need to be reloaded. Other than that, all of its mods are randomized, depending on the level of the player. I think the name just refers to its legendary effect. It can fire indefinitely, as long as you have the ammo, resulting in its limitless potential. I'm not entirely sure what the UP-77 designation refers to, so leave any ideas in the comments. Thanks. Righteous Authority. Continuing our streak of laser guns, next is Righteous Authority. It is given to the player after completing the Call to Arms quest with Paladin Dance. Righteous Authority is a pretty solid VATS-oriented laser gun, as it comes with the Lucky Weapon effect. This allows critical hits to do double damage, and it fills the critical meter 15% faster. It's also likely one of the first laser guns the player will encounter during their playthrough of the game. Righteous Authority continues the sort of religious undertones for the Brotherhood of Steel weaponry. Just like how Maxon's Gatling laser is called Final Judgment, issuing judgment to those perceived to be beneath them, Righteous Authority sort of explains why the Brotherhood's mission in the Commonwealth is taking place. They've been given some sort of authority by some higher power to exterminate the mutants of the Commonwealth. The developers really went all out into making Fallout 4's version of the Brotherhood really feel like a techno-religious military force. But that's just my interpretation of it anyway. Salvaged Assaultron Head. Another truly unique weapon that Fallout 4 has is the Salvaged Assaultron Head. It can be found in a steamer trunk in the Fort Hagen hangar. It is the severed head of an Assaultron robot, and roughly resembles a pistol when used. It gets charged up before dishing out a healthy dollop of energized light. The downside is that the weapon actually deals 50 points of radiation damage to the user, making it the only gun in Fallout 4 that actually hurts you in order to use it. It's quite unique and cool, but I'd never realistically use it in any of my playthroughs. Sentinel's Plasma Caster. The final unique plasma gun in Fallout 4 is the Sentinel's Plasma Caster. It is sold by Quartermaster Tegan after completing the A New Dawn quest. Oddly enough, the Sentinel's Plasma Caster comes with not the Sentinel's legendary effect, but rather the instigating legendary effect, making it deal double damage to enemies at full HP. Also, it comes with a standard capacitor, a short barrel, a standard stock, and standard sights. Nothing too remarkable mod-wise. The weapon serves as a reference to 1. The Soul Survivor's new rank of Sentinel, and 2. The Plasmacaster weapon from past Fallout titles. Survivor's Special. Our second to last laser gun is the Survivor's Special. It can be rewarded to the player for completing the quest The Lost Patrol by convincing Paladin Brandis to return to the Brotherhood of Steel. The Survivor's Special will always come with a sharpshooter's grip, reflex sight, beam splitter, and the bloodied legendary effect, making it deal more damage the lower your HP is. I believe the weapon's name comes from 2 things. One Paladin Brandis is surviving alone in Recon Bunker Theta after his recon squad was killed by the hazards of the Commonwealth. He is the lone survivor. And 2, the Bloodied effect gets better the lower your HP is, meaning that to make the most of the effect, you have to play on the edge between life and death. Bloodied weapons offer a pretty unique playstyle. They're quite strong in Fallout 76, but quite cool in Fallout 4. Tesla Rifle. Our last wholly unique weapon in Fallout 4 is the Tesla Rifle. We've had the Tesla Cannon and Tesla Armor in Fallout, but never a Tesla Rifle. It can be looted from Ivy at the end of the quest Headhunting in the Fort Hagen hangar. The Tesla Rifle uses fusion cells to shoot an electrical discharge that arcs between targets. While it doesn't have a very big range, its arcing nature allows it to hit multiple foes with each trigger pull, making it quite good for crowded control purposes. Swarms of ghouls, bloatflies, rabid dogs, and the likes stand no chance against the Tesla Rifle. The Tesla Rifle refers to Nikola Tesla, famed inventor and engineer. According to Wikipedia, his work has formed the basis of modern alternating current electric power systems. He's quite the notable guy when it comes to electricity. In the Fallout universe, it's Tesla's designs that led to the creation of Tesla Armor, and likely the Tesla Cannon and Tesla Rifle. It's one of those cases where real-world lore gets tied in with Fallout lore. Virgil's Rifle. The only unique Institute rifle found in Fallout 4 is Virgil's Rifle. It can be pickpocketed from his persons or looted from his corpse. Up to you. Virgil's Rifle comes pre-built with a gamma wave emitter, improved long barrel, full stock, medium night vision scope, a fine-tuned beam focuser, and the Mutant Slayer's effect, allowing it to deal 50% more damage to super mutants. How ironic. The name of the weapon refers to its owner, one Dr. Brian Virgil. Wazer Rifle. And last but not least, our final unique laser gun and unique weapon of Fallout 4 is the Wazer Rifle. It is given to the sole survivor after completing 3 unmarked quests for Synth Sean after ending the main quest with any faction. Similar to Limitless Potential, the Wazer Rifle comes with the never-ending legendary effect. It also comes standard with the overcharged capacitor, improved long barrel, full stock, and standard sights. The weapon's name refers to the Fallout 3 weapon of the same name. And that wraps up our little exploration of Fallout's unique weapon system. Some uniques are no longer unique in appearance, or even in weapon effect. Rather, many are only unique in name. It's a bit of a sour change from past Fallout titles, but such is the way of life. I hope you learned something new about some of these unique weapons. I look forward to reading some of your comments about the references that I may have missed or didn't pick up on. Let me know what your favorite Fallout 4 unique weapon is. But that's all from me today, folks. If you liked the video, please do share and subscribe. The script came out to about 48 pages and over 10,000 words, so likes and comments are much appreciated. Join the Discord if you'd like. Have a good rest of your day. Cheers.
Oh, that's the USS Constitution. I hear it's parked up there for tax purposes.